All right. Identify the foci of this hyperbola. This guy is actually opening up and down just like this guy did because y is squared and he is in the front. He's the first term. So let's draw this out. We want the foci though, so let's figure out where we are first. So we are at -2 down, but we're at +7 on the x. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All right, 7, -2. 7, -2. We're over here. And, excuse me, we're going to go up 6. So we're -2, so that means that'd take us to 4. We're here. And if I went 4 down this way, I'd go to -6. Okay, so right here. Okay, it's definitely not the scale. All right, and then we're going to go 6. Wait a minute, shoot. What am I doing? Yeah, I'm going, yes, okay. I was thinking for a second it was 3. So we're going to go 6 this way, and then 6 that way. So we're like right here. Okay, so this is if I had to graph it. Oh my God. Okay, there. And then Shazam, Shazam. Now, this is really just a sketch, a bad sketch, because I want the foci anyway. Okay, so he's like this. Okay, that's super terrible. Oh my gosh, I was referencing that. Right there. Okay, now it's like an absolute value sign. Anyways, losing control. I went from the sun. This is our guy. That's our guy. Okay. All right. Now, what we got to do though is we have to figure out what is the focus. Okay. Now, the focus is going to be beyond the vertices. Okay. It has to be a distance that's greater than the vertex to the center. Okay, they're a little larger. They got to be on the inside of the hyperbola, which makes the c value larger. So what this means then is that for my c squared, my a squared and my b squared, I basically just add them together. Okay, and then I will take the square root and I will add or subtract that from the coordinate I need to from my center. Okay, so 36 plus 36. Now don't really overthink this too much, right? 36 is there. Okay, that's going to be 72. Now what you got to do then is just take the square root of that 72. But you can see that you don't see the square root of 72 anywhere in here. Okay, it's because the square root of 72 has been simplified. Inside 72 is, if you can see here, it's 36 times 2. Okay, now we can take the square root of 36, and that's 6 radical 2, because the 2 is still on the inside of the radical. So this means 6 radical 2 is this distance. Okay, and 6 radical 2 is this distance. Now you can see 6 radical 2's floating around in our answer, but what do we add it to? Okay, so here's where you got to be careful. This is where I used to make mistakes all the time back in high school. All right, now it looks like my x coordinate is staying the same because I'm on the transverse axis of the hyperbola, right? So this guy right here is sharing the same x coordinate as them all. That x coordinate is going to be +7. Okay, +7. So we know that both the foci have to have +7 as, and you can see here we can cross out the -7s there. Okay, so the x coordinate has to be +7. +7, +7. We can actually get rid of this guy. Okay, yeah. Okay, so now to go all the way to here, what I have to do is I have to add this 6 radical 2 onto the y coordinate of my center. My center was -2. Okay, so -2 will have to be added the radical 6 radical 2 and then subtracted 6 radical 2. So it has to be the -2 here. I will add that distance here and I will subtract that distance here. So it looks like this guy's got radical 37. This guy is, we're down to B and D. So this guy is it, because that's the center. That is this plus this, take the square root. Okay, I know that seemed like probably a long way to answer that question. You guys might actually be able to visualize quicker shortcuts But I don't know. I want to kind of explain it the same way every time. Hopefully, use the information provided to write the standard form of this equation here. Okay, so let's piece this together. This guy has vertices at -2, +1.
Oh, we got 2 giants.
And -2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, so this guy is actually going up and down again. So this means my y will be first. Okay, and they're both squared. Okay, so again, vertices means that -2, 1. Notice they've got the same x coordinates, so this means that this distance here is actually, my graph is going to look like this. Okay, it's going to go up and down because y is first. Okay, now the conjugate axis, that's the shorter one, is actually 4 units long total. So this means I'm going to be going 2 that way, 2 the other direction. I can't do that though until I figure out where my center is. So let's figure out where the center is. I'm at +1 here, -5 here. So that's a total distance of 6, which means that I'm going to be going down to here. Right there is my center. Okay. So 3 this way, 3 that way gives me the 6 total distance on the transverse axis. Okay. Now what this means then, if I went up 3, down 3, that means underneath here will be 9, okay? I don't know what this guy is, but I do know my center now, so that was -2, +2. So that means I went down 2, and then I went to the left 2, okay? All right, so now if I'm going to go, the conjugate axis is a distance of 4 total. Again, remember we're cutting that in half. We're going 2 in this direction and 2 in that direction. Okay, that's 4. So then 4 would go under here, and that's it. That's all we got. Conjugate axis is the shorter one, so he's going to be going right to left. That should go under the x-axis. So is that this guy? Yes, that's this guy. Okay. All right, now find the vertex of this guy. Okay, now vertex is nice. The vertex of a parabola is actually pretty easy in this form because he's like looking right at you. We know that it's actually +10 and it's -5. That's it. Okay, +10, -5, that's D. Okay, there's just that one, -1/2 has nothing to do with it, and which one is squared has nothing to do with it. Because if you want to graph it though, you need to know where the vertex is. But remember, if you had a vertex, say like right here, okay, he could go this way, this way, this way, or this way. A vertex is usually just not enough information, okay? Now that is more important here, where you want to find the focus, because here you have to know which direction it is pointing, because the focus has to be squeezed inside the parabola, okay? He has a direction. Vertex doesn't have to have a direction, okay? All right, so let's still, though, find out where our center, or vertex is. Parabolas don't have centers. He is at +10, and he is down 2. Okay. So he's right there. Okay, so what we do is we look at and see which one is squared. Now, it looks like the y is squared, so this means he will either open this way or that way. Okay, not like a hyperbola, right? If y was squared on a hyperbola, he'd be going up and down. So just keep that in mind. They're contradictory to each other. But I am negative, so the negative should be, according to this form, should be in front of the parentheses. That is not squared. Okay. So that negative sign means that I have this one pointing in the negative direction. So this guy is pointing this way. Now it's not my job to graph this guy. I just know that my focus has to be in here. Okay. So this means my y coordinate here of 10 has to be that focus distance, that p-value. It has to be p-value this way. So I'm going to have 10 minus that p-value will take me there, okay? Because I'm still going to be at -2. So it looks like my y coordinate is -2. So this means these 3 are gone, okay? This is it. Okay, it's got to be these 2. But I need to be shorter than 10. Okay, I'm not gonna. It's gonna be a. You can see this is under 10, and that's over 10, isn't it? Yeah, that's over 10. So actually, I'm done. This is the guy. But let's see how we arrive there. Okay. So what we do is we say that 4p equals this value in front of the parentheses that are not squared, and that is -1. Okay. So p equals -1/4. Okay. So this means that my p-value is a distance right here. So what is 10 minus 1/4? Okay. All right, and so this guy would be 40/4. Okay. That way they have the same common denominator. 40 minus 1 is 39. So that's where the 39/4 comes from, even though we use the process of elimination to figure it out that has to be the case. Okay, because he cannot equal 10. He's got to be shorter than 10. If it was more than 10, a quarter this way, that means this guy would have to be pointed this direction, which would require the p-value to be positive. If it was a positive 1/4, then this guy would have pointed this direction. All right? Okay, so where are we at? 11? I'll stop here for this one.